I've wanted to do this video for a long time, and I guess it's appropriate now. The reason that I've been thinking a lot about stuff is, I'm not seeing a lot of accountability on YouTube, unfortunately. Let me see if I can move this square this up. And what I mean is that I've been hearing a lot of people call the bottom for a long time. This is the bottom. We're at the bottom. Yeah, David Morgan. Jim Dubin, one of the guys from Silver Doctors. Using the big words, Why do you have to do that? Many of us have been around the block, and being in the 12-step program I'm in, that wouldn't last very long. It doesn't fly. There's people that can. I was telling a guy today, or even a gal, said, smart doesn't get you anywhere. It won't get you anywhere. It comes from above. Wisdom, intelligence. And I've in the 18 years I've been there, I've seen a lot of things. As a matter of fact, I talked to a guy that has over 35 years. I said, have you heard anything new in the 35 years you've been there? He's like, no. So it's just, you kind of chuckle inside. I have only heard a few people apologize and say they were wrong. A few. Like in, less than 5 fingers on my hand. They just, for some reason, people just seem to forget about they said there was a bottom and buy now and it's the end of the world and, it's all nonsense. And I'll repeat this, and I've posted it on videos. When they run out of chairs in a circle, the game is over. But then, some of you guys, this is kind of a rant, Some of you guys say, well, it's manipulated. Okay, then, if it's manipulated, how can you say there's a bottom? Hang on a second. How can you guys say there's a, on one hand you're saying the stock market, it's all manipulated, but then you're calling the bottom. It doesn't make any sense. You're not making any sense. At all. And like I said, and I'll repeat this again, they haven't ran out of chairs in a circle. Let me see if I can find something. I want to read you something here. If I can find it. Shoot. I don't know where it is. Anyways, if you do a Google search and you just try this, type in the dream world of the compulsive gambler, and unfortunately it will take you to Bettors Anonymous, not Gamblers Anonymous. At least mine does. It takes you to Bettors Anonymous, not Gamblers Anonymous. And it talks about these people, dreaming new dreams and making up schemes, things like that, Sounds like the Fed to me. QE1, QE2, taper, and all these things, they just keep making things up to stay in action, to keep the game going. But, as you read down towards the bottom, it says, eventually their dream world will come crashing down. And it has. Look at history, look at countries, eventually they crashed. So, I think one of the hardest things for a lot of people is to admit they were wrong. That's part of that's one of the steps that I practice. It says continue to take personal inventory, and when we were wrong, promptly admitted it. So, what makes you so special? You're not. You're no special than anybody else. You can consider yourself an expert. Well, if you're many of us have been on here a lot longer than some of you guys have. I subscribe to a guy that says he has exclusive material, on his paid site. Well, if you're pulling up articles off of GLP or Zero Hedge or SteveQuell.com, that's not really exclusive. I mean, anybody can find that. A lot of people had this grandiose plan. If they get enough subscribers, then they can start, putting out the hand. And thinking that, maybe they don't have to work a real job or anything, or try to find an income outside of, YouTube. Although there are people that make, they make pretty good money on YouTube. Some don't. And some didn't get involved in YouTube for that specific reason. Where they show up, make one video a day, and and they got all these people paying for what? Because they've got the connections. Yeah, I've heard that one a million times. Not a million. I've heard that a lot of times. My sources. That's hilarious. I unsubscribed to a guy that's I mean, we were supposed to be at war. I don't know, 6, 8, 9 months ago. It's the end of the world in Russia, and because of his sources. He didn't have any sources, or maybe the sources that he has are completely just stupid or wrong, or he's just making stuff up to make himself feel important. Like he has some inside information or something. It's funny, because I watched this guy try to talk about bodybuilding, and I just laughed my head off. It was hilarious. You don't. You want to learn about bodybuilding? You just go to the store and pick up a copy of Muscle Fitness or whatever, the other magazines. Yeah, sure. Like, and I remember Mike Mentor saying, like, it's sacred scripture. Mike Mentor went through the same thing. For those that don't know him, he was actually, they believe he was murdered, him and his brother. But he met a guy years ago. His name was Arthur Jones. Arthur Jones was the creator of Nautilus. His son actually created machines called Hammer Equipment. And Arthur Jones basically showed Mike, because Mike thought he was smart, that he didn't know nothing about bodybuilding. Although Mike was a big guy, well, steroids do help. They help a lot of guys. And Mike basically learned that he didn't know anything. That he was ignorant. That he was just following along like a sheep. And then, my friend turned me on to this guy. I'm like, hey, this was in my, I don't know, maybe in my late 20s or 30s. I don't remember. He said, hey, listen to this. It was a cassette tape at the time. Then I'm listening to this guy in this conversation. I'm thinking, this is crazy. This guy wants me to do 2 sets, for my chest. That's it. Well, I'm so used to doing 20, 15 to 20. How could 2 work? But I listened, and I was curious, and I tried it. And it worked, and I got in the best shape of my life, and I was stronger than I ever was. Because I listened, and I realized I didn't know anything. It's just, and then the Arthur was trying to, after Mike did, 1 set of this, 1 set of that, he said, Arthur asked Mike this question, he says, can you explain to me, why, if this is working, why is there any reason that you would need to do 2? 2 of each rather than 1 of each. I couldn't answer. He realized that there was power in one. He didn't know anything, really nothing at all. And he basically also realizes that he kind of had an addiction to bodybuilding, is that he had to spend all this time in the gym because he really had no life. you know, and it became an obsession, an addiction, or whatever. And you know, I'm not really involved in that too much anymore because that, you know, it's personal issues and things, you know, with ego and insecurity and a lot of that stuff. That's a lot that drives a lot of that stuff. You know, wanting to stand out and you know, it's just it's another facade. And I do check out Steve Quill's site, and I don't read any more articles from the Common Sense Show. You know, I've got inside information. You're a basketball coach. So what? You know, and Russian, and you know, are you happy with the system you have now, with the Rothschilds and bankers running the system? China wants to, you know, go back. They want to go to a gold back currency. They want to go to real money, real assets. Get rid of this paper. Do you want to continue to pay and do what we're doing now? Until basically they've stolen everything you have? Is that your answer? Or are you willing to step out of the box and try something different? You got to make that decision. I don't mind naming it. It doesn't matter to me. I don't make a lot of videos here, and I really don't care. You know, but you know, sometimes when you meet people, they hide behind the screen. They don't show their face because they feel like if they're going to give out some secret information, someone's going to come and get them. Yeah, right, sure. Because they read a thread that everybody can read. They go to a site that everybody goes to. Hilarious. Anyways, hang on a second here. Pushed the wrong button there. So, I put a comment on a video, in regards to Bull Pony. I said, if this guy is wrong, honestly, I think he should never open his mouth again, except to apologize. If he tried, then hey, great. I've seen people over I don't know how many years use all these special charts and this, where has it gotten you? Nowhere. Ridiculous. It's manipulated with a big M, unfortunately. So until it's over, it's going to continue. Watch the Wall Street Conspiracy. That's a very good movie. You'll see what's going on. Have things changed? I doubt it. Have they gotten worse? I would say probably, most likely, yes. The game will continue until something dramatically happens. Until people finally, get busted. If that day ever comes, hopefully it will. Because, in my opinion, a lot of people should be executed after that day comes. But the public, I guess, will probably have to decide their fate. So, I was listening to, the Dollar Vigil, Jeff Burr, the video he did the other day. He was talking about, having some issues and seeking some help, What an open, honest interview he had. If you don't agree with what he did, to find the solution, then that's your own opinion. But his openness and honesty was, wow, how often do you hear that? I do hear it from some people, though. Some people that I subscribe to, so. Anyways, stop lying. Talk to you later.